Never. Download the Shaw's Deals and Delivery app or the Star Market Deals and Delivery app today.
How many touchdowns you guys scored last year? The answer is not enough. That's it. There's one answer. Not enough. We got to score them.
The Patriots are brought to you by Safety Insurance, Catches Law, Shaw's and Star Market, Oakers Technologies, your New England Honda dealers, Credit Unions Kids at Heart, Town Fair Tire, Clinton Savings Bank, Witches Woods, and by Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
Oh, here we go, go, go.
Also brought to you by your New England Ford dealers, Eastern Propane and Oil, Comcast Business, Massachusetts Energy Marketers Association, Drains by James, Live Nation, UMass Lowell, your Boston area Chevrolet dealers, Hub International New England, John Dark Credit Union, Devlin Energy, FindMassMoney.com, and by Bigelow Tea.
We're going to have to just line up and play football. All this drawing stuff on the board, it doesn't matter for nothing.
And by Reed's Ferry Storage Sheds, Miller Lite, Peerless Boilers, Wendy's, the Peterson School, Dig Safe, Dairy Queen, Autodesk, Blue Sky Restoration Contractors, Eagle Leasing, Webster Bank, AZEC Exteriors, Heading Home, and by Apex Entertainment Center.
Holding! Come on! How do we not see this? Come on! Call it!
Now, here's Matt McCarthy and Joe Murray.
Well, finally a fun day in Foxborough. Patriots in control pretty much from the jump today. They beat down the Carolina Panthers 42-13, the final. This is the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show. Shaw's and Star Market, making shopping, ordering online, and saving easier than ever. Download the Shaw's Deals and Delivery app or the Star Market Deals and Delivery app today. Matt McCarthy, Joe Murray. Finally, Joe, a home win for the Patriots. What's your takeaway from this one?
This is a great day for the New England Patriots. They got it all over. Offense, defense, special teams. This is a great day if you're coming home from the Patriots game to react. Not a lot of negatives. And to give the team some credit after last week's loss, there was a lot of criticism, whether it's, making penalties or, all sorts of issues, beating themselves, playing bad football. Today they did beat a bad football team, but they did everything absolutely great. And my number one takeaway was the amount of big plays, right? Last week, we were hoping that they could maybe open the field up a little bit more. You saw a change. Stephon Diggs in the slot today. Hooper had big plays. So the offense opened it up, and I will credit Josh McDaniels for an incredible week of adjusting.
Big of you. No, you're not a big Josh McDaniels guy. He had a good day. Really good day.
Misdirections, play action, crossing routes. They were at one point, we're averaging almost 8 yards per play. That is an improvement from what we've seen this year.
There's a lot to get to. We'll get to the day that Josh McDaniels had. We'll get to you at 617-779-0985. Here's my big picture takeaway, Joe, before we get into the nitty-gritty of this one. The Patriots are on schedule. I know it's been bumpy at times here in the first 4 weeks, but if you had said after the first 4 weeks, the Patriots are 2-2 going into Buffalo, coming off their best win, their biggest win, let's be honest, their most impressive performance, at least statistically speaking, in almost 4 years offensively, going into the Buffalo game on Sunday night next week. If you had told me that a month ago, I would have felt really good about where the Patriots are standing. So I do feel good about where the Patriots are standing. No doubt there have been some bumps along the way, but this team is on schedule. They are 2-2. They had, to me, a couple winnable games here in the first 4 games. Today was the most winnable, and they went 1-2 in the other games. They're 2-2. This is where they should be. I feel good overall about where the Patriots are at this point.
All I can tell you is 2-2 going into Buffalo is good for the New England Patriots. They went up against a team that just had a 30-0 shutout and responded. And that's the biggest takeaway. They are on the right path, Matt. And, Buffalo today did not cover, although they were a major 15 points today. Now it sets up the 2-2 New England Patriots versus the Buffalo Bills. And the defense looked much better, and let's see if they can bring that into Buffalo.
If this were last year, I think they go 1-3 in these first 4 games. They find a way to lose the Miami game, or they certainly don't blow out Carolina the way they blew them out today. Joe, they haven't had a blowout like this since going back to Cleveland in the Bailey Zappi start in 2022.
Wow, I was going back to the Jaguars game years ago, too.
They haven't scored this many points since the Jaguars game in 2021. It's their best offensive performance in 4 years. So progress has been made here. It's incremental. It's not perfect. But again, this team last year, I think, goes 1-3 in these first 4 games. 2 years ago in Belichick's final year, they probably go 1-3 in these first 4 games. They're 2-2. They're making progress. And offensively today, they made progress. I understand the competition is not great, but offensively, they showed you something today that they have not shown you. Good competition, bad competition, no matter what, in almost 4 years.
I'll say this. After last week's game, Mike Vrabel was very critical of some of the offensive plays, and he even hinted during the week about some other wide receivers getting more reps. Mm-hmm. I think the adjustment they made was less Pop Douglas, more Stephon Diggs. It looked great.
Let's go to hear from the head coach, Mike Vrabel. He's stepping to the post-game press conference. His press conference is powered by Oakers Technologies.
Kind of lit the fuse today for you guys.
Well, I mean, I think that's what we've been looking for. I talked about that throughout training camp and how those return units need to be, a weapon for us. We're still, we've got the one kickoff return, but, to be able to do that on the punt return, fantastic effort by Marcus and everybody else out there. But I think a lot of that was, just his own individual will, skill, and effort. And so, again, that has to be a weapon. It was something that we felt like could be through this season and getting ready for this year.
Mike, what is it about Marcus that makes his skill set so superior?
Well, I think he's, he's not the biggest player, but he's got great play strength, I think, with the football in his hand. He's got great vision. And again, you have to be, fearless at some level to catch that punt and know that you're going to make the first guy miss. And we're confident in that. And, I think you kind of it's just a natural skill. That's hard to teach. It's hard to teach with all those bodies and traffic and catching it first and making great decisions with it back there. So it's a lot of comfort with him back there, and we need to continue to make it a weapon.
Mike, right in front of you. Coming off of last week's loss, how much did you need a performance like today, and how good does it feel to be able to put together a performance like this?
Well, you always need. You only have so many opportunities. So, whatever you do in one week, it doesn't really matter. It's about what you do the next week, moving forward. And hopefully, we take that same approach, whether we win or we lose. And I think that's what I've tried to do is, whether you win or you lose, we've got to embrace moving on, and we have to do that. We have to be prepared here for. A division opponent on the road. It's going to be a great environment, and hopefully we'll see where we're at.
John, you're on the right. Coach, talk about the defense. Obviously, you give up that opening score, but then you guys bounce back and pretty much shut them down the rest of the game. Talk about the adjustments you guys made and how you were able to kind of take control of the game on that side.
Just settled down. Just settled down a little bit. They did a nice job early on and moving guys around and. We have to, to continue to disguise better and tackle better and all those things. And, I guess if that's the trade-off for playing great defense the rest of the way, then we'll have to go through those growing pains early in the game. I don't anticipate that we should. But it was good to see us respond, and we've done that. And I'm proud of our guys for not, going into tank or, complaining or pointing a finger or anything like that.
Mike, what did you see from Drake today in the way that you guys were able to spread the ball around on the offense?
Just throw to the guy that's open in the progression as soon as he's open. And then if not, quickly progress through. Those are the things that quarterbacks have to do, and they have to have a command of it, and we did that. And I think the red zone clearly is a big factor, our ability to convert those chances into touchdowns. Was important. I saw a lot of extra effort, guys blocking downfield, springing guys, and again, I like when everybody is involved and the quarterback just throws to the guy that's open every play, no matter who it is.
Locker room is open. Mike Giardi in the front row.
Mike, I saw you with the T Strong shirt. A lot of the players were wearing him as well. What does it mean to get a W when he's going through something obviously pretty serious here?
I think we just. I don't think that those things are really comparable, right? I mean, we got one situation where somebody's, fighting and we're playing a game. And I just, we care deeply about Terrell. and we're going to do everything that we can to help him and to support him and make sure that he gets what he needs and competes and fights, and that we take care of him as people and support. That's the big thing there. And then the other side of it is just the game. We understand how critical and the wins and losses and we're here to win. But I don't look at it like, we have to win because this is a crucial catch. And, we just have to win so that we can continue to build a program that can withstand everything that goes on in this league.
Mike, when you mentioned moving on and referenced Buffalo next week, you said hopefully we'll see where we're at. What did today tell you about where the team is right now?
Well, that when we don't beat ourselves and we take care of the football and we play complementary football and we get stops on third down, the return, the special teams are a factor, and we score touchdowns in the red zone, that, it can look like something. So, again, that's not guaranteed every week, but certainly we can see the difference in how critical those phases are and putting them all together.
Mike, Marcus Jones has played some offense here at points before, given how dynamic he's been with the football in his hands. Is that a possibility that you'd ever consider using again?
We'd consider anything that would help us win or score points, certainly.
Have you considered it?
We consider everything, and again, we got a lot of guys that are producing over there, and we'll see where that goes and how it translates.
Mike, it looked like you had some starting defensive linemen on the field on Marcus's first return score. I was wondering, were you anticipating a fake on that play, and what was it that maybe led to that decision?
We like that gray team. That gray team can be just as good. And, whether you're trying to think it's a fake or you like those guys pushing in there, you got two choices in punt return. You can either hold them up or you can knock them so far back that it takes them a little while to get down there and cover, and there's some displacement in the lanes. So we'll continue to mix those up and try to use everybody to where we see fit and how they can help us. But, whether it's trying to go rush a punt with some bigger guys and or try to manufacture a return. Should I expect a breakdown of those plays and that units? Good. I want that on my desk by 6 o'clock.
Hey, Mike, big game obviously from Stephon Diggs. Was that an emphasis this week, a matchup you guys saw, or just where the ball was going?
That's just where the ball was going. And Steph and everybody's done a nice job. And if we continue just to believe in the quarterback that he's going to throw it to the guy who's open in the progression, that good things will happen. And, we get down there in the red zone and everybody's going to score. We got plenty of plays down there. And if everybody just stays the course and does the right things and does all the things that helps the team, that those plays are going to come for them in the red zone. It's just like the defensive line. They want sacks and they want all this. But, Barmore's disrupting the quarterback and is getting holding calls. And I know I don't want him to be frustrated, but I see those things. Pop Douglas would have liked to have had a couple extra catches today, but he also turned and blocked, and Hunter Henry ran down the sidelines. And nobody's going to say that unless I say it. And so those are the things that matter. Not the guy catching a touchdown. That's the easy part. The hard part's the guy that didn't get the ball thrown to him, that turns immediately and blocks his guy, and we score from the 25-yard line. Thank you.
All right, that's Mike Vrabel's press conference powered by Oakers Technologies. Our coach knows a winning playbook is the key to success, and when it comes to your company's technology, the Oakers playbook has been unstoppable for over 100 years, so get future ready with Oakers, proud partner of your New England Patriots. Joe, I found that fascinating, that last exchange about Stephon Diggs. Mike Vrabel asked, was there an emphasis to get Stephon Diggs the ball today? He says, no, just where the ball is going. And then he mentions Pop Douglas, says he probably would have liked a couple extra catches today, but he had a big block, which he did, and all of that's true. But I think there was an emphasis to get Stephon Diggs the ball today, and if there wasn't, there should, because you can see the impact he had on this game.
I think Mike Vrabel's been a lot about sending messages, or, as far as the media goes, he's been pretty consistent about if everyone stays the course, right? When it came to Ramondre Stevenson's fumble, he talked about, a block that somebody missed. So he was really trying to say that everyone did their job today. He called out Christian Barmore's pass rushing, getting held a lot today. He mentioned the Pop Douglas play down the field that opened up Hunter Henry's touchdown. I think he is trying to say that everyone needs to do what they have to do, and in the end, they're going to throw it to the open guy and throw it quick. He has been doing this the last couple of weeks, and I thought it was somewhat more of a, this is the way we're going to do it, or we need more from the offense. But today you saw all those things happen, and he validated it and probably is vindicated by it with, even though some guys wanted to catch more balls today, like Pop Douglas, his motion today, some of the things he did to get other guys open, that's why Stephon Diggs was open today, because they threw to the open guy, and Stephon Diggs has been the open guy, and they found him today.
They did throw to the open guy because they had 5 different touchdowns from 5 different players. But that being said, getting Diggs more involved in the offense and, more importantly, moving him into the slot, Joe, opened things up for the Patriots in a way we did not see in the first 3 weeks. I think that's pretty undeniable coming out of this.
Drake May also said he wanted to get back-to-back weeks, right? I got to get him the ball more. It looked like there was an emphasis there, no doubt about it. But, just between the from last week to this week, we had questions about Ramondre, right? About potentially playing again. Vrabel believed in him. He got carries right on the goal line on a 2-yard play, if you remember, right back into there, too.
First carry of the game. First play of the game. Ramondre Stevenson.
And then Pop Douglas, who wasn't necessarily aggressive on the 4th down, seemed a little bit, replaced, repositioned, and the tweaks that they made worked out. And I've been a little hard on some of the things Vrabel's been saying, but today he must feel vindicated because everyone stayed the course. He must have said it a couple of times. He also mentioned he was glad the guys responded. I wonder if he questioned it at all. But for the most part, and he talked about they didn't beat themselves and they scored in the red zone. So a lot of the things he mentioned last week that he's not upset about, that they need to be better at, they absolutely were today.
It was a bounce back. And no doubt, the competition was a step down from last week, but it was a bounce back. They cleaned up the things they had to clean up, and as a result, they steamrolled Carolina today, 42-13. 617-779-0985. Phone lines open for you on the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show. Let's go to Dean in Shrewsbury to lead things off with Matt McCarthy and Joe Murray. Hey, Dean.
Hey, I know that Vrabel said he was going down Drake May was going down his progressions, but he really did seem locked on Steph Diggs. Steph Diggs got 6 of the 14 completions, and I think that's a big part of why the offense was humming today. I would stay more on trying to lock into Steph Diggs, even though that's going to become harder with harder competition. I just don't think we have a weapon that's quite as good as his.
So Mike Vrabel said after the game, as we just heard, we threw to the open guy. But to Dean's point, Joe, only 3 Patriots caught multiple passes today from Drake May. Steph Diggs was far and away the number 1 with 6 catches. Hunter Henry had 2. Travion Henderson had 2. He was the only wide receiver with multiple catches today.
Do you think they unleashed him today?
You could say that. I think they actually put him in the spot he should be in. He should be playing more in the slot because this team will be better with Steph Diggs in the slot. Pop Douglas has lost his job. Can we walk away from today and say that Pop Douglas has lost his job?
Although he was on the field at times, I don't think he is the number 1 slot receiver going forward.
He shouldn't be.
But this
they're better with Diggs in the slot.
The Josh McDaniels offense is at its best with a premier slot receiver. Right, you got you guys on the outside who can make your plays. I do wonder if they were maybe holding him back for a little bit, but the Patriots have been the get-right team, right? This was a get-right game for them today. Like, the Vegas had them as almost a touchdown favorite, but they were able to get the things that they haven't been doing the last couple of weeks, right? I don't know why they haven't been using Steph Diggs in this type of capacity. So maybe they saw something on film this week that was... Or just, we got to get this guy the ball more to be good.
Or is it simply put that they saw what Pop Douglas gave them last week, can't do, has given them 3 weeks? Here's the way I look at it, Joe. Diggs is versatile. You can put him outside, you can put him inside, and I think they were hopeful coming into the year that in the McDaniels offense that Douglas would tap into his full potential and he would be a real weapon for them. He proved in the first 3 weeks he's not. More importantly, I think you've learned, in not only this year, but last year as well, I don't think Drake May and Pop Douglas are on the same... They're not on the same page. They're not on the same wavelength. I would so much rather have Diggs inside, and then you have Booty and Hollins on the outside. If you're going 3 receivers, maybe you can implement Kyle Williams into the offense a little bit more on the outside. The Pop Douglas thing, I'm fine with it. I'm good with it. That experiment's done. Diggs needs to be inside. He proved it today. You are better off with him inside because then it opens up things for you outside too with guys that May simply trusts more. And as a result, didn't Drake May look more comfortable today in who he was throwing to?
Absolutely. Oh, today's a day to celebrate. Like this,
no doubt.
They haven't won at home in how long, people? The people who've been going to these games at home haven't been. I know last year, the last game of the year was the Joe Milton win. That didn't count. Fake win. This is real. This is a real win. A great just output overall. But I think this was the Stephon Diggs coming out party today. And to your point, Matt, Drake May looked better today because he had a premier wide receiver that isn't iffy, that fights for first downs, that catches everything, that will go over the middle, will go on the long runs down the field to seal the game late. He did it all today. Stephon Diggs was the number 1 receiver for the Patriots.
617-779-0985. Liam in Southie. Hey, Liam.
Hey, I think the Pats honestly bounced back pretty well after that slow start, especially after that Panthers first drive. I mean, that says a lot about the Pats, more than it says about the Panthers. That was a good get-right game. That was needed. Let's carry the momentum. The rest of the season, let's get after it. Let's go. I'm pumped up.
So the slow starts to games on defense, still a little bit of a concern for me. But I love the way they bounced back last week and they bounced back this week. I think some of that has to do with Bryce Young and the Panthers, who obviously are not that great. But the way the offense bounced back from drive 1 to drive 2, that's one of my primary takeaways from this one, Joe. That was a significant jump in what they did from drive 1 to drive 2.
Absolutely, they stopped. Carolina looked pretty good early on. Let's face it, they schemed it right. Chuba Hubbard was getting involved. They exposed the safeties to the tight ends. It didn't look good. It wasn't pretty. But then they started to shut him down, and then Bryce Young turned into a pumpkin. Remember, Matt, we watched the game together. I was, whoa, look at him. Whoa, hey, look at. And then
you were a little high on Bryce Young,
and
my
then
friend.
he went to crap. He was bad. But I credit the Patriots. They were throwing different looks, and they made a huge change. They took Christian Willis off the field and put in Gibbons. And Gibbons started firing gaps, and they were doing design plays where we would hold the zone down. Gibbons gave the team a little bit of a spark today.
I'm glad you brought that up. It's a minor thing. I thought that change from the second drive to the third drive, the Patriots made, inserting Gibbons in place of Ellis, who was not good in the first 2 drives. I thought that sneaky helped change things. And then the defensive line really started to take the game over. I thought Milton Williams was a monster today. He had a really good game. They impacted Bryce Young. The second they got to him, 1 or 2 times, that was it. Bryce Young was done for the day.
I got to mention Milton Williams for a second before we go here. Milton Williams, for those who saw the punt return, knocked out his own player, but absolutely knocked him out. Then later on, he was being triple teamed and knocked one guy down, was going through the others. He was a monster today. Maybe it doesn't show up on the tape, but when he knocked out
it shows up on the tape. I don't know if it shows up on the box score, but it shows up on the tape, dude.
He knocked out his own guys, was knocking out everybody today, which, that D-line took over the game. When you talk about, the Pats settled down, it was because of their D-line. And we'll get into the Christian Gonzalez stuff. There was a lot of anticipation about a certain All-Pro.
Mm-hmm.
But Marcus Jones, let's not forget, let's put respect on that guy's name, also All-Pro.
We haven't talked enough about the Marcus Jones impact on this game. We will do that. We'll hear from the quarterback. We'll hear from you, 617-779-0985. But first, a quick update from Joe Murray. This is the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Patriots win in blowout fashion today, 42-13 over Carolina. 5 separate touchdown scores on the day. Marcus Jones, Drake May, Travion Henderson, Antonio Gibson, and Hunter Henry, all with TDs. Drake May, 14 of 17, 203 yards, had 2 passing touchdowns. Stephon Diggs caught 6 passes, went over 100 yards, 101 on the day. The Patriots get their first home win of the season. They're now 2-2. They'll take on the Buffalo Bills next week on Sunday Night Football. The Bills today, they snuck out a 31-19 win over the Saints. Some other finals right now. Falcons knock off the Commanders 34-27. It was the Lions 34-10 over the Browns. Giants get a 21-18 win over the Chargers. It was the Eagles 31, Tampa Bay 25. Texans shut out the Titans 26-0. And earlier today in Dublin, the Steelers got a 24-21 win over the Vikings. Right now in the first quarter, Rams and Colts tied at 3. 49ers have a 3-0 lead over the Jaguars. And just underway, Ravens and Chiefs, no score in that one. Bears, Raiders. And tonight, Micah Parsons and the Packers head to Dallas. Headlines, they are brought to you by Valvoline. It's an oil change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com for 15% off your next drive-through oil change. At Valvoline, it's an oil change, the official oil change of busy people. I'm Joe Murray. More of the Shaws and Star Market Patriots postgame show is next on the Safety Insurance 98.5 The Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network.
The Buffalo Bill. And he's going to punt it away to Marcus Jones, who stands inside the 10 to our right in this 6-0 Panther lead. The Patriots come up with a stop in their territory. Waist-high snap, nose of the football down. Right-footed kick, sky high to the near side. Jones ambles over, under it at the 13, starts back to his right, escapes, and then carries back near side 20. He's going to lay into the 30, along the sideline 40, to midfield. Marcus Jones with the convoy. Cuts it right to the 40, to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, to the end zone. Touchdown, Patriots!
Kid's electric. One of the few guys with top speed on your team. No flags. No flags as you turn around. But it's a phenomenal job by Marcus Jones. Just biding his time, finding the crease on the left side. And then it's a brigade of blockers, which turns this loose. There's about 4 or 5 guys that deserve credit on this. Jones, first of all, to set it up. A little bit of a delay, cuts right, steps it back left, got the vision. And then it's let's get out front. And Woodson's down. He's injured. Core special teamers, led by number 22.
That's Charles
Woods. Nice job by Woods and company getting out front.
Marcus Jones sending you all home happy today. An 87-yard punt return for a touchdown. Almost had a second Patriots win, 42-13. But did you know that nearly 30,000 people in Massachusetts don't have permanent housing? Heading Home is changing that. Get involved today at headinghomeINC.org. Shaw's and Star Market's Patriots Postgame Show. Matt McCarthy, Joe Murray. Electric's performance from Marcus Jones today, Joe. You talked about Christian Gonzalez being the all-pro player that the Patriots have. In some ways, have we forgotten and were reminded of the impact of Marcus Jones today? He missed time last year with the injury. He completely changed this game for the Patriots with that touchdown return.
Yeah, it was a game changer because they were down 6-0. You mentioned, we've already discussed how they had a soft start, and their offense wasn't great either. Remember, May kind of threw it in the triple coverage a little high there. But that was the response. They went up 7-6. The defense got better, and then that's when they started to use their plays because really they scored without having any offensive plays, and they started getting into their rhythm. I think there's a correlation between the both, Gonzalez and Marcus Jones. Marcus Jones, they want him to be the third corner. He's had to play a little bit more of a bigger role as that outside corner, which may have taken away some of his ability in the kicking game and in special teams. So you get Gonzalez back. Well, now he becomes more of a weapon, right? He's not in coverage as much defensively. He can focus on being and showing off that speed. So in a way, yes, they got Gonzalez back. The defense, gave up 2 touchdowns the first and last drives of the game. But I think it makes Marcus Jones just better overall and ready for those type of those situations because he is a game changer. He's one of the players on the Patriots that can get the ball, be dynamic, get big plays. And that was my takeaway today is everything they did was a big play. But if you look at that side of the ball on defense with Gonzo coming back, I think it's the reason why Marcus Jones had a big day.
So he got hurt on defense last year, right?
Yep.
I think I remember that correctly. He got hurt on defense, and he's not bad on the defensive side of the ball. I like him. I'd be interested to see him a little bit, maybe more at safety, but that's neither here nor there. I think they've got still some issues at safety, but I think you're totally right about this, Joe. The less you're going to ask of Marcus Jones on the defensive side of the ball, or actually even on the offensive side of the ball, because Mike Vrabel was asked about that twice. Post-game, as to whether they'd try to get him a little bit more involved on the offensive side of the ball, which he did in his rookie year when that offense was struggling so much. If you can just count on him to do the thing he does best, you are better off. And as a result of being a deeper, and I'm not saying they are, a world-class football team, but being a deeper football team than they were in years past, maybe you can just have Marcus Jones do the thing that he does best, which is change the game on special teams.
There was some shenanigans right before the game about the kicking for the Panthers and their dirty kicks.
A lot of dirty kick talk. A lot of knuckle kicks. Knuckleballs.
I wonder if there was some motivation there from the special teams regarding that. It was talked about during press conferences this week and watch what they do, and it was the Patriots special teams that delivered.
So the Patriots special teams were disappointing the first 3 weeks of the year because I thought they were so good over the summer, and I thought they were really going to take a step forward. And that's one of the things I was most frustrated by, Joe, in the first 3 weeks. Is like, where was the special teams unit that I felt like was making a lot of progress this summer? Today changed that. They were as good as they needed to be today and more.
You can add a punt return and a kick return now to the special teams as far as for that offense. Like, remember Mike Vrabel had that famous saying, hey, how many touchdowns you guys scored last year? Not enough? They now have a couple from their special teams.
As an aside, don't you think special teams is in its best place in the NFL in a number of years now because you have kickoff returns in this league?
Well, it's been a tough time for kickers, I got to tell you. Right, block kicks. It happened earlier in the first touchdown today. There was one today in the Dublin game.
But that's a good thing for the league though, because you don't want a kick to be, you don't want a kick to be automatic. You don't want a kickoff to be automatic. Like, you want this. Punt returns are exciting. Kick returns are exciting. Block kicks are exciting. I want to be entertained as a fan. You want a stat, Joe?
I love it.
Marcus Jones now joins Julian Edelman, Troy Brown, Irving Fryer, and Mike Haynes as the only Patriots players with more than one punt return for a touchdown in their career.
Wow.
It's a pretty good list.
And Edelman's very memorable.
Yes.
He's had him in the playoffs, too. Yep. Wow. Great company.
Welker didn't have two, huh?
Not that I know of. I will say, though, Marcus Jones was a highlighted, decorated special teams player out of college. Went to Troy, went to another school from there. But that was one of whose guys?
Bill Belichick.
And what did he emphasize?
Special teams. Joe, were the special teams good under Bill Belichick late?
No. Nope. But they have an all-pro, though, and his name is Marcus Jones.
I mean, compared to the drafts they have, Joe, I would not be making this argument. Yeah. I would not be going to the Bill Belichick thing on Marcus Jones.
You know where I'm going with it? Is I think Mike Vrabel likes his guys, right? But he's always been a Marcus Jones guy. Marcus Jones became the captain, right? Mm-hmm. Was it a Gonzalez thing? Like the Gonzalez thing, he was out there today. The Ted McMillan first drive didn't break down, looked a little rusty is the word. But I don't think I saw enough today to evaluate him.
Yeah, I kind of have the same thought on him, and I'll be curious to get Greg Bedard's thoughts on how Christian Gonzalez looked a little bit later on in the program. But I don't know if today is the day where you can pass any judgment one way or the other on Gonzalez. I thought he was, and you look at statistically speaking, McMillan did not have many catches at all, which is certainly some part in credit to Gonzalez, but I think that more has to do with the Panthers offense. But we can get your thoughts on Gonzalez, on Marcus Jones, on this performance today for the Patriots at 617-779-0985. How about Paul and Quincy? Hey, Paul.
Hey, how are you guys? You know, one thing I noticed today, Drake May, was his decision-making. It looked like he was seeing the field very well, throwing the ball away instead of going out of bounds. Checkoffs. You know, to me, being a quarterback is more than just throwing. It's being able to make good decisions. He didn't make any bad decisions today. At least I didn't see him.
What'd you make of Drake May today, Joe?
Drake May was good, but I think he was so smart on the play designs. And what I mean by that is really good on the play action, right? Mm-hmm. Sold a lot of the end around stuff, the misdirection. He just sold it. That's what he has to do, right? He's really good on the run. There was a couple of times didn't set his feet. That's all there, but he's an athlete. And this is what I talked about this off the air. So when Drake May is at the goal line or in the red zone, he needs to be an option that can run the ball.
Thank you.
And last week, when they threw it 3 times in a row, I was very critical of Josh McDaniels, and I was very critical of the third down play. Although it was tipped and it was there, you can't have a play that could be turnover worthy. It was. When he's there, sometimes you want one of your best players or your best players to have the ball. Man, he is dynamic around the goal line. He rushed one today. There was a little on the run throw that he made for a touchdown. So although some of his mechanics aren't great, he's such a good athlete that he can just overcompensate for it, and he's just a dynamic option in the red zone.
Yeah, moving the pocket in the red zone or getting him outside the pocket in the red zone is exactly what they need to do, and they did that today. I thought McDaniels had a nearly flawless day. We'll get into his play calling. We'll get into Drake May's performance. We'll hear from the quarterback as well, and we'll hear from you at 617-779-0985. Patriots just steamroll Carolina 42-13. This is the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show with Matt McCarthy and Joe Murray on the Safety Insurance 98.5 The Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network.
Installing a mailbox, planting a tree, or planning other yard work?
Don't dig yourself into trouble. Click digsafe.com or call 811 first to prevent damage to buried utility lines. It's smart, it's free, it's the law. Click digsafe.com or call 811.
Play fake to him, rolling left man with a ball fake. He's going to angle to the pylon. He's going to score a touchdown. Patriots.
Good boy, Drake. Do what you got to do right now. Right now, your weapons are your running backs and your tight ends. That was a big tight end running back drive. Mix it up. And then this kid just effortlessly gets to the corner. I mean, it doesn't even look like he's running straight up and down. And they had no chance to get it. Barely touched it. Great. What sells it is the play fake to Gibson. It's a nice block by Hooper.
That's our drive of the game, brought to you by Auto, Home, and Business. Ask your independent agent about safety. Will help you manage life storms. 6 plays, 80 yards, over 3 minutes and 2 seconds. Drake May capping off a drive to put the Patriots up 14-6 in the first quarter with a 5-yard touchdown run, and the Patriots did not look back after that. This is the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show. It's Matt McCarthy and Joe Murray. Let's hear from the quarterback, Drake May, who's brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers.
Drake May.
Sorry, Dan Roach.
Well, Drake, after last week and the week, maybe talk about protecting the football and what have you. How pleased were you with the way things unfolded with your group today?
Yeah, just proud of the guys. I thought they played hard. Really get back to shoot our fundamentals and back to kind of establishing our identity. I felt like we did that, and I felt like we didn't hurt ourselves. A few penalties that we would like to have back, and obviously some 3-and-outs that we could have done a better job on first down. But I think proud of the defense. They put us in great spots. Marcus Jones. Can't say enough about him. Shoot, he's I think the best in the game at it. So I feel it was a full team effort and proud of the guys.
Drake, there was a play in the third quarter where it would look sort of similar to Pittsburgh last week. You had pressure, you went up in the pocket, you were surrounded by defenders, you protected the ball and just sort of went down. Then 3 plays later, you threw the touchdown pass to Hunter. How good is it for you to see some positive reinforcement of sometimes the best play is to just live to play another play?
Yeah, probably throw it away too. Don't take a hit and don't give those guys up front, 1-yard sack. They hate me for that, and I apologize to them. So, but other than that, I think, if there's nothing there, just try to, live the next play, live another day, and just learning that, and I think it leads to good things.
Drake, talk about the offense. You guys got into a rhythm early, and you were able to sustain that throughout the game. What were your overall thoughts on the offense today?
Yeah, just proud of them. Proud of them for what we what we put on tape last week was not what we want to do and who we want to be. I thought those guys, we established the run early. We had some different scheme kind of plays that kind of give the defense some misdirection that I thought we hit right on the head, and that turned into explosive plays. So just proud of the guys. just kept on fighting, and I thought we were a good situation. I should have hit Booty on the first third down, missed him behind him, so we could have been even better, and there's still stuff to work on, but proud of those guys, and it starts with the guys up front, and just keep going.
Drake, is this kind of the best version of yourself, like kind of taking what the defense gives you, moving the ball around, managing the football? Like, is this who you project to be and who you want to be moving forward?
Yeah, sure. I sure hope so. If it leads to wins, that's what I'm trying to, become, and the quarterback I'm trying to become. I've tried to do it, kind of just, my whole career kind of spread it around and give it to the guys that they can make plays. And, I think everybody's got some, chance in our team, our skill guys to make the defense, give them a problem. And I think we got guys on the team that are great with the football in their hands and just trying to do my best job of getting to them quick and don't hold it.
Mike Giardi in the front.
Drake, you lit up when you were talking about Marcus there briefly. What does that play, the first one in particular, do for the team? Because it seemed like, I don't know, maybe you're in a little bit of a rut early on, and then boom.
It's nice, golly. It's good. It's fun seeing that. You kind of always know, I think, when he's back there, you got a chance to get a great return. And it's always, I think the best thing about it is it makes you feel comfortable when he's back there making a great decision, whether it's a touchback or whatever he's doing. And I sure hope they keep kicking it to him because he's fun to watch.
Drake, you looked real comfortable out there. How big of a role did your offensive line play in that? What did you think of those guys today?
Oh, they play the role. I mean, they start, every play. I think it's those 5 guys are playing their tails off, playing their butts off in the run game and the passing game, learning the protection system, learning third down, different looks. Garrett's communicating with me, based off the front, getting into different plays. Can't be more, proud of those guys up front, and they're continuing to do each and every week.
Drake, you had told us during the week that you wanted to get going with Steph and find him. How good was it to kind of see him get behind the defense on a couple of plays and for you to find him?
Yeah, he looked a little faster than I thought. He looked pretty fast. I think he's just keep getting more comfortable. Sure, he's a great player with the ball in his hands, and he's a great leader on this team. He's great with energy, being positive, and glad he's a Patriot.
Drake, it looked like you guys had some success with shotgun runs. I'm curious, what about those looks specifically maybe gives you guys an advantage versus when you're going under center?
Yeah, just we always try to hunt up 6 boxes when 6 box when with the tight end in. You try to make it 6-on-6. That's football. And if whoever try to block the 7th guy and the 8th with our receivers, that's football. And if it's in the gun or if it's under center, just try to get a hat on a hat. And our backs are good players, so give them some space and they'll make somebody miss.
Hey, Drake. On your rushing score, you hit the Cam Newton-Selly, the Superman. I just wanted to know how much has Cam, when you were a young kid, just influenced how you play the game and how you want to play quarterback, maybe emulate his style?
Yeah. I think it was cool seeing those jerseys, right? When I saw him in those jerseys, it reminded me of Cam. Just the energy he brought. I don't show much emotion out there. I probably need to show more, but times that I do, just it's his fall in love position. I think he played the position a different way, than a lot of people do. And I think the guys around him rallied around him. And, the other one late I think maybe the 3rd or 4th, I had a safety one-on-one. I know Cam would have probably took him on and tried to score. So, I think I got to meet him and got to meet him through the process. And just a big fan. He was my favorite player growing up. So, pretty cool.
Drake, you had at least 7 X plays here today. What about your preparation in the film gave you guys confidence you'd be able to hit some today, and what'd you see?
Yeah, we knew their corners were good players. They got a good cornerback duo, and they try to match routes, so just trying to get our guys running away from them, and then just try to give them some misdirection looks on different run game stuff. And I thought our guys executed well and just kept on moving and kept going. And I felt like it was good not to have 15 to 17 play drives. It felt good to kind of get some lower play drives and end up in the end zone.
Drake, just how much more comfortable are you feeling right now compared to week 1?
Yeah, it's each and every week in this offense. I think there's still stuff on the tape that coach will get on me on, and I think that's the best thing to do is with the loss you kind of learn from it and take it harder. But also when you win, look at the tape and learn from it. And there's things that show up in this game that are going to matter down the road. So get more and more comfortable, and I think those guys around me are helping me out. So thank you guys.
All right, that's Drake May, brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers and the Chevy Silverado, where dependability comes standard. Today, Joe, Drake May, 14 of 17, 203 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, no fumbles. Dare I say he managed the game This is a game manager type performance from Drake May, which I say is a positive thing. That is a compliment to Drake May based on the fact, had they managed the game last week, they would have won that game last week. I think today showed some growth from Drake May, and he did look more comfortable, as he just said, in that offense week by week.
I'll say he looked efficient and sound. How's that?
Did he blow you away?
The run down, one of the plays I went, they need him to do that more. So there are signs that he shows where, in the red zone specifically, he needs to use his legs. And so, yes, they have an athlete there. And last week, when they threw it 3 times in a row, I think they might have forgot that.
This is one of my favorite Drake May performances of the last couple of years because it was in control. It was in the I don't want to call it in the spirit of the game, but it was the way that the game was being played. The Patriots had good field position. They were running the ball. It was just in command. It was efficient. And the occasional time he had to make a play, such as moving out of the pocket in the red zone, a couple rushing scores for him today. It looked right. It looked good. It didn't blow you away. There weren't the eye-popping plays that you saw last year in games that they lost. They won this game comfortably, and Drake May was a reason why. Not the reason why, but a reason why. I'll take it, Joe. I'll take it.
I know we'll look at the scores here in a second. Were there any turnovers today?
No
trying
turnovers.
to look through the sheet here, and no turnovers, right?
Playing in control. It might not be the sexiest thing you've ever watched, but playing in control is something that they're going to have to do. Complimentary football.
So you're telling me no turnovers leads to wins?
That's what I'm telling you, yes.
Okay.
I'm glad we translated that. Yes. No turnovers. Good. Good thing. I'll be honest, though. You turn the ball over a couple times today, you're still winning this game. That Carolina team, that's a rough
They gave
watch.
up the first touchdown and the last touchdown and still won by 30 points. 29. Joe math.
I was told there would be no math. But I do know we will pause 10 seconds for station identification. Then we will hear from Joe Murray in a Sports Hub headline. But first, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Safety Insurance 98.5, the Sports Hub, Patriots Radio Network.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios, this is Boston's home for sports. WBZ-FM at HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub. Sports Hub headlines, presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Patriots winning a blowout at home, 42-13. 5 different players scored on the day. Marcus Jones, Drake May, Travion Henderson, Antonio Gibson, and Hunter Henry. May went 14 of 17, 203 yards passing. Did throw 2 touchdowns. Stephon Diggs caught 6 passes for over 101 yards. Patriots get their first home win of the season. They're now 2-2. They'll take on the Buffalo Bills next week on Sunday Night Football. The Bills, they had a 31-19 win over the Saints today. Your other NFL scoreboard, the Falcons defeated the Commanders 34-27. It was the Lions 34, Browns 10. Chargers lose 21-18 to Jackson Dart and the Giants. The Eagles got a 31-25 win over Tampa Bay. Texans, they shut out the Titans 26-0. And this morning in Dublin, Steelers got a 24-21 win over the Vikings. Right now, second quarter, Colts have a 10-6 lead over the Rams. It's the Jaguars 7, 49ers 3. Ravens have a 7-3 lead over the Chiefs. Raiders, they lead the Bears 7-3. And later on tonight, Green Bay Packers and Micah Parsons, they head to Dallas. The Red Sox, they await their opponent between the Yankees and the Blue Jays. And Al Horford has officially signed a contract with the Golden State Warriors. Headlines, they are brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandoilChange.com. You can save 15% off your next drive-through oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, the official oil change of busy people. I'm Joe Murray. Your next update in 30 minutes.
This is the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots Postgame Show. Shaw's and Star Market make shopping, ordering online, and saving easier than ever. Download the Shaw's Deals and Delivery app or the Star Market Deals and Delivery app today. Now, here's Matt McCarthy and Joe Murray.
Play fake and May rolling to his left, looking downfield. He's going to dump it off for Hunter Henry. Running room to the 20, 15, 10, 5 to the end zone. Touchdown, Patriots.
Take what the defense gives you, and you will be fine playing the quarterback position. And that's what Drake May did. Good play fake, gets on the perimeter, and it's Hunter Henry on a little dump out in the flat, and he just turns it up the sideline.
Drake May on the move. With 14 completions by the Patriots today, Catches Law donates another $1,400, which brings the Catches for college season total to $7,100. The Catches Care Scholarship ensures financial hurdles will not prevent students from pursuing their dreams. This is the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show. Matt McCarthy, Joe Murray, you, 617-779-0985. Patriots cruise to a 42-13 win over the Panthers, pretty much their best offensive performance in the last 4 years. Joe, let's get to Josh McDaniels and the day he had. I thought it was nearly flawless. There's a perfect example why Drake May getting out on the move, which is a point you've made a number of times on the program today, and it's a good one. When Drake May is on the move, when you move the pocket, when you get him out in space, good things happen, and that's exactly what happened there. I thought McDaniels did everything he needed to do to get the most, not only out of Drake May today, but this offense. He had one of the best games he's had in quite some time today.
So a couple of things going into this. Josh McDaniels was great, and I give Drake May a lot of the credit for understanding, the play fake, right? Or setting up the fake toss, goal left. There was a lot there that's hard to understand as a young quarterback, which we've had questions before. Is there too much on Drake May's plate, right? Today, not at all. So, yes, as far as the designs go, and Vrabel said it all in postgame, so I hope he mentions that McDaniels, drew all that up. Mm-hmm. But again, to bring up that Hunter Henry touchdown, if you remember, the line and everybody blocked down to the right, but he went left, right? Pop Douglas went on the far out, and then it was just Henry who was kind of blocking but was there for a screen. Caught it, was great pass, and then just let it right down the field. That's a beautiful play call. Absolutely beautiful, right? Even the running play. He looked around, kind of saw that everything kind of opened up, let everyone run its course like Vrabel was talking about. Those are design plays. He's a gifted runner, but that's all design. So hats off to Josh McDaniels today.
Your guy.
When we talk to Greg Bedard, I'm gonna give him his flowers because he deserves it. But in a way, I want to just give the credit to Drake May for understanding it, selling it. Everyone else doing their job as far as making it all work. The designs were beautiful. And just one other thing to add in here. There was a lot of talk about the running backs, right? Stevenson started. Henderson got some reps, got his first touchdown. Gibson got the ball on that goal line when they were back to their 2. They averaged 4 yards per carry today. They didn't turn the ball over, and they totaled 106 yards on 26 carries. It's amazing what you can do as an offensive coordinator, and quarterback when you can put up 100 yards and lean on your running backs.
I think they want to run the ball, and I think they should want to run the ball. This offensive line is better in run blocking than they are in pass protection. And take the competition out of it today, Joe, because I think we understand Carolina is not a good team.
One sack all year. One.
Don't get after the quarterback. So you can't really necessarily make a judgment on the offensive line today. But this is what I think the Patriots want to do and what they should want to do. They're going to be at their best when they're running the football because that sets up the play action and that sets up what McDaniels wants to do. I want to go back to the second drive that the Pats had today. First drive was not good. Second drive was way better. It was a 5-play drive, 3:02 for the first offensive score of the game for the Patriots. Hooper screen, good design, drive starting play. They then hit Stephon Diggs in the slot, which I think was his first catch of the day. It would have been his first catch of the day. They give the ball to Gibson then on an end around. The very next play, it's the similar motion. Henderson, in place of Gibson, goes on the end around. Everybody bites.
Everyone
bit on it. They give the ball to Stevenson in the backfield. He cuts it upfield for 22. They're in the red zone. Play action fake because they've now gone 2 straight running plays. Play action fake. May gets out. Bootleg touchdown. 5 plays. Perfectly designed. Perfectly called up. That was the best drive I've seen Josh McDaniels have in quite some time. And to your point, Joe, everything set up the next thing. The flow was good. That was a good moment, and particularly that second drive.
Josh McDaniels has always been good at beginning of the game plays, right? The script that they call it. Holmgren, he always talks about, or who's the Chiefs coach? They always talk about Andy Reid. They always talk about those first plays of the game when they design it. Well, they didn't have to run any plays because they scored on the punt return. So when they actually used their first plays of the game, to your point, that second drive, they ended up with a lot of swings to the right, misdirection left, end around, right? Everything that they did, the defense had no clue it was coming. And Drake May was poised, made the right plays, and it got Ramondre going a little bit too there. Like he had faith. He, showed his ability. Hooper, again, part of the act. It was really well done today. There's not a lot of negative to take away. And to Vrabel's point, they found the open guy, and the open guy a lot was Stephon Diggs.
617-779-0985. Phil in Worcester on Stephon Diggs. Hey, Phil.
Hi, how you doing?
What's up?
Love the show. Matt, I had a question for you. As I was listening, you were talking about Stephon Diggs, that he should have been in the slot much earlier than today. My question is, don't you think that Coach Vrabel and the offensive coordinator didn't have him in the slot because of his serious injury, and that he was more ready today to be playing that position than at any other time during the course of the year?
Yeah, Phil, I think it more has to do with the fact that they wanted to get Pop Douglas going. If Diggs is out there and he's healthy enough to be out there in week 1, is that going to be outside? You're saying he can't go inside on that? I don't think that's ultimately what it was. They thought that this offense was going to be its best with Pop Douglas in the slot. And by the way, I don't think that was an unreasonable opinion. Douglas had a good summer. It feels like he does have good summers. Feels like he's a good practice player. And he went out there the first 3 weeks and it wasn't good enough. In fact, it was bad. So I don't think it had to do with the fact that Stephon Diggs wasn't ready and this was the master plan all along. I think Pop Douglas lost his job. And I think Stephon Diggs maybe helped put the nail in the coffin on that today, because this team, Joe, is better with Diggs in the slot. Period. End of story.
I hope they go with that, him in the slot with Mac Hollins and Booty at times. Booty had a couple of nice plays, a little quiet today, but is he getting quiet too? And I'm just saying that consistently every week, Diggs has been good, right? And I maybe they regret not calling him for that play on the 4th down last week. But you said they want to be a running team. They love to go with the 2 tight ends. But with Diggs at the slot, I think it allows them to be a little bit more dynamic with more receivers on the field. I mean, there was one point I remember talking to you. Wow, Henderson in the game and Diggs at the same time?
Like, where's that been?
Whoa, where's this been? So I think they realized that last week they didn't throw a lot of plays past 8 yards. They averaged almost 8 yards per play today. They opened it up, and I think they have to incorporate Stephon Diggs and Henderson and others to do that.
Is this team better with 2 tight end personnel or 3 receiver personnel?
I would say 3, but they're more comfortable with the 2 because they're still not letting Drake May throw the deep ball. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Maybe they're saving it for, if you want to talk about saving things for a certain week, like maybe it is next week.
That's
I don't know.
also not the Josh McDaniels offense, though.
You're right. It's not.
They do not push the ball down the field in this offense. So now I'm okay with that. I'm comfortable with that because, well, again, Joe, I come from the Tom Brady era. I actually do think your offense is at its best when it's small, efficient, especially when you have an offensive line that isn't very good. Like, I don't trust this. If we're talking about 7-step drop, let's throw the ball down the field. Can they do that? Like, effectively, can they do that? Take the scheme stuff out of it.
No.
It's the Jimmies and Joes, not the X's and O's. Take the scheme stuff out. Can they go 7-step drop and push the ball down the field? Are they going to be at their best if they're doing that?
No.
I don't think so.
And some of their receivers do struggle to get off the ball and get open. But the 12 personnel they've been locked into, it was good to just see the 11 person. Just a little bit different with more. It worked. It worked today, and I hope they use it more next week against Buffalo.
So I think to be effective in the modern-day NFL, you need to be able to run 11 personnel. I mean, that's just the way the league is. It is a 3 wide receiver league. I'm not saying that the 2 tight end personnel, the 12 personnel, isn't something good to have in your in the playbook, but if you're going to be really successful, and if Drake May in the end is going to lead this team to where you need to go, you need to find 3 wide receivers. And today was the first time that they showed they could be effective in 11 personnel.
Vrabel, again, his postgame today was great. He talked about the little things everybody was doing. I know Pop Douglas may have lost his job, but he did a lot there. But he kept just stressing the find the open guy, get the ball out quick. And when you found the open guy, it was Diggs. And when he got the ball out quick, there was one third down I want to give Drake May credit on today, and it was to Diggs. They had a 3rd and 15 after they had a penalty. 3rd and 15. This was to really kind of put it on top. He nailed it, threw it past the sticks, and it was to Diggs. And I'm like, yep, these two have now found rhythm.
I want to talk about the way they managed Ramondre Stevenson today as well in the running backs, because that was, if the offense centered around Steph Diggs, if the passing game centered around Steph Diggs, the running game centered around 3 running backs. It was a true rotation. We'll get into that, the decision-making there. We'll get your thoughts at 617-779-0985. Greg Bedard of the Boston Sports Journal is also going to join us at 5:35 today. This is the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show. Matt McCarthy and Joe Murray on the Safety Insurance 98.5, the Sports Hub, Patriots Radio Network.
Ball carrier making the tackle for Carolina.
Outstanding fake, because you had Henderson running the same jet sweep action Gibson ran. They fake it to him, give it to Ramondre left side, but it's Hooper with the key block coming over right to left, pins it, and Ramondre scoots up inside. I thought he was gone.
The big run of the day for Ramondre Stevenson. Unclogging the Gaps is brought to you by Eastern Massachusetts leader in drain cleaning and pipelining, Drains by James. Slow drain, clogged drain. You need to contact Drains by James today at drainsbyjames.com. They give a poop about your pipes. We talked about that play a couple minutes ago, Joe. It's Matt McCarthy and Joe Murray on the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show. Travion Henderson in a motion across. Fake to him on an end around Ramondre Stevenson with plenty of daylight as part of the Patriots' 5-play drive that put them ahead for good in this game. 5 plays, 3:02, put the Patriots ahead 14-6. What did you make of the way that Mike Vrabel handled the Ramondre Stevenson situation today? I thought it was a statement from Vrabel. He led the team in carries. That being said, it was definitely a work share for the Pats. 9 carries for Stevenson, 7 for Henderson, 6 for Gibson. But the first carry of the game, first play of the game, went to Ramondre Stevenson. What did you make of all of that?
Well, I thought it was just to say, hey, we still believe in you and we need you. I think you could make a case for Ramondre Stevenson's 9 fumbles in 2 seasons to lose his job. Last year I think Gerard Mayo tried to do that, said that he was going to do it and didn't.
He didn't try that hard.
And, Vrabel just said, no, there's no discipline. I'm putting him back out there. And that's believing in him. But he did go to Henderson more today. I'll look up the actual snaps at some point. But, yeah, Henderson had 7. You mentioned 7 for 32 with a touchdown. But Ramondre also had that 20-yard long run there, as you pointed out. And even Gibson up the sideline. Like, they were creative on how they used him. Ramondre was north-south, right? Henderson was a little bit off tackle. They tried to get him outside, and then Gibson was to the outside. So when I look at it, maybe they're trying to use those guys in different ways. The one I do look at was when they were pinned back. It was Gibson first down, Gibson second down.
Right before that.
Stevenson third down.
Yep.
So they still don't give the ball to the rookie there, which maybe in that spot they still think that the veterans are the best option.
So I thought that was a fascinating part of the game because that was a ball security part of the game. The Patriots were up 28-6. The punt put them down on the 2-yard line. Before the half, Carolina had their timeout, so they were trying to call timeout to get the ball back to get one final field goal attempt. They went to Gibson, as you mentioned, on first and second down. And I don't know, this is probably from the 4 or the 5, so it is a hold on to the ball type of situation once they had gotten the ball off the goal line, but they were still backed up pretty close to it. Then they gave it to Stevenson on third down. What I thought about that, Joe, is they're saying, listen, we're up 28-6. We're not going to give him the ball 3 times in a run the ball 3 times situation type of play, or type of moment in the game, but we're going to give it to him once because we've got to get him right. And if he fumbles it here, well, then we'll learn even more about him. We're probably going to give up a touchdown as a result, but we are up 28-6. I would have been really curious if they had been up 14-6 in that spot, if Stevenson had gotten the ball at all. But I did think that was a noteworthy moment of the game where Vrabel at least showed some faith in him. Not enough faith to start the drive, but they did send him out there for third down in a simple run into the line, hold on to the ball, we're going to punt it away type of spot.
This is one thing Mike Vrabel talked about at his opening press conference was he wanted to get the guys to trust him. And maybe that's why he made some cuts this year that we could talk about, Peppers and some other guys. But I think Ramondre now, probably has a little bit more trust in Vrabel. Like, wow, he's stuck with me. I got to, after the game, Ramondre Stevenson wants to be a good player, and he understands if he gives up the ball, he's going to lose his job. So he doesn't deserve anything. He's not owed anything whatsoever. Gibson also fumbled last week, too. And remember when Vrabel this week made the mention of, well, Drake May fumbled, too. What am I going to bench him? I think the guys have his trust right now, and it's a really good place to be with Buffalo. Going into Buffalo at 2-2, you can kind of erase your first 4 games and go into it as a high note.
What's your grade on Mike Vrabel and the coaching staff 4 weeks in?
I thought Mike Vrabel wasn't being accountable the first 3 weeks. I thought the slow preseason showed early on. They snuck out that win against Miami personally. They were a toe away from it not happening, but a win is a win for this team. Last week, I don't think he's disciplined enough on his defense. And, Terrell Williams has been out. Maybe that's been part of it. Now they have to tighten up there and everyone else is all hands on deck. I just think he's been harder on the offense than the defense. But after a whole week of doing talk shows and looking at it, the message was sent to the team. There was no turnovers today. They played better. The offense called plays and got it to the right guy, things he's been talking about. So I would like him to take a little more accountability of the defensive struggles, but he thinks it's the offense that's going to run this team.
Do you think he's been harder on the offense for one of 2 factors? One, is it that simply put, if this team is going to go anywhere, it's going to be because Drake May develops and turns into a top 10, top 15 quarterback in this league and, carries them to, 9, 10 wins? Or is it simply put, Josh McDaniels was not his number one choice. And, he is not, he wanted Thomas Brown, and it's easy to kind of point the finger at somebody else when you go 1-2 in the first 3 weeks.
I think the scapegoat's there when he needs it, and that's why be more accountable. You're giving up 300 yards a game through the air. Like, your defense goes off sides a lot. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
the procedural penalties need to be cleaned up.
Yeah, and like, where was the accountability for them? Well, today, giving up, 13 points on the day, that's accountability, right? That's the way to go. But to answer your question, though, I think they know that they need Drake May to be their best player, but they also need the other guys to help Drake May.
Has Drake May been their best player at any point in the first 4 weeks?
I would say Drake May was the best player in the field in week 2, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Last week, he had the 2 turnovers, which he can be. It's the turnovers. That's what it's about with him. When Drake May plays it right, and things are rolling, and he's athletic, man. I know people want to make the comps to Josh Allen, but he has that type of control of the offense when he does play with that ability.
That's why today was one of my favorite Drake May performances in the first year and a half of his career, because he played in control. He played within the system. He played the way that this game needed to be played, which really did not demand too much from him. All it demanded from him was don't turn the ball over, make the plays when they're there, hand the ball off. Because the Patriots special teams was elite. I mean, Marcus Jones had 150 yards of punt returns and a touchdown, and they had good field position, and the competition on the other side was not bad, or was not very good at all. Drake May did exactly what he needed to. 14-17, 203, and 2 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown.
Yep. I just need to look it up. Did Marcus Jones have more yards than the Panthers today?
He did for a long period of time in this game. While you're researching that, we'll go to you at 617-779-0985. How about Parker in Maine? Yep. Parker?
Hey, how's it going?
How you doing?
Good. So went to the game with a couple buddies today, and I'm pretty big Pats fan, but just over the last couple of years, it seems like between Mac and Drake May and just coaching changes, we haven't really gotten the deep ball going. And I don't know if that's more because of personnel or just scheme. Do you guys think we have the personnel to get more play action and deep balls down the field?
Play action, yes. Straight up deep balls, 7-step drop. No, I do not think they have that personnel. But this will be a chicken or an egg thing, Joe. It's like, is the reason, and they push the ball down the field a little bit more today, but I wouldn't say that was the biggest part of the offense. Is that a scheme thing? Is it because McDaniels doesn't want to do it, or because they don't have the personnel to do it? I still think it's personnel, but I'll be honest, if all things are equal, McDaniels still is not going to want to play that way.
They like to keep it 8 to 13 yards. It's what works. It's how they move the ball. Yards after catches there. I think if they want to make a few changes, Diggs in the slot, I think, is now permanent. Maybe you tweak the booty thing a little bit, because there's something there with Hollins. But I think their deep guy is Kyle Williams. He's their speed guy. They're just not open to it yet, but at some point they're going to need him.
I'd be way more open to the idea of Kyle Williams at this point than Demario Douglas. How about Tim in Nashua? Hey, Tim.
I want to talk about Josh McDaniels. In the past, he's run the offense in his particular flavor, which is left to right, not downfield. I want to see this kid throw the ball. He hasn't had a lot of reps. I think it's very important that they go through all of the plays, and I do not want to see any more reverses or anything like that. I think it's a waste of time. This kid can throw the ball, so take advantage of a crap team like this that they played and throw the ball.
So, Tim, you didn't like the Patriots putting up 42 points today with that style just because you didn't like the fact they did a few end-arounds? I can't get on board with that, Joe.
I can't either.
Joe, they haven't scored this many points in 4 years, and we're going to complain about the style of the offense today?
Yeah, last week I wanted them to open it up a little. And listen, the next-gen stats and the PFF and all of them showed how they were 8 yards or less, and they needed to open it up. They had plays today that were over 8 yards. They did that. They responded to that. The misdirection, the end around, it confused the other team, and we saw it. The Panthers would go and left when they misdirection left. Like it was well orchestrated. So do I agree that Drake May can throw the ball deep? Yes. But they also don't want him to turn the ball over, and those would be considered turnover-worthy plays. And today, I don't know if they had any. Maybe when we watched the tape, there might have been one or two. But for the most part, there was 0 turnover-worthy plays, and that's great execution, but also designing. It was great designing.
We'll ask Greg Bedard if there were any turnover-worthy plays. A TWOP? I've seen that. TWOP.
Turnover-worthy plays.
Any twaps out there?
Yeah, none today.
We'll ask Greg Bedard. We'll get to you as well. 617-779-0985. But first, we'll get an update from Joe Murray on the headlines. This is the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Hey, do you like touchdowns? Well, the Patriots had 5 of them. Marcus Jones, Drake May, Travion Henderson, Antonio Gibson, Hunter Henry. It was just touchdowns galore over at Gillette Stadium. Also the first win of the season at home for the Patriots. Drake May, 14 of 17, 203 yards passing, had 2 touchdown passes in this one. Stephon Diggs, 6 receptions, 101 yards, his 37th 100-yard receiving game. Patriots, they're now 2-2. They'll take on the Buffalo Bills next week on Sunday Night Football. Bills with a 31-19 win over the Saints today. Right now in action at halftime, Rams 13-10 over the Colts. Jaguars 14, 49ers 6. Chiefs have a 13-7 lead over the Ravens. And the Raiders just scored to go up on the Bears 13-6 later on tonight. Packers and Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. Falcons, they beat the Commanders today 34-27. It was the Lions 34-10 over the Browns. Chargers fall to the Giants 21-18. Eagles get a 31-25 win over Tampa Bay. Texans shut out the Titans 26-0. And earlier today in Dublin, it was the Steelers 24, Vikings 21. Red Sox still await their next playoff opponent. It's either the Yankees or Blue Jays. Al Horford officially signed a contract with the Golden State Warriors today, and Team Europe has held off Team USA's comeback, about to win the Ryder Cup. Headlines, they are brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com for 15% off an extra after oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, the official oil change of busy people. I'm Joe Murray. More of the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show next with Greg Bedard on the Safety Insurance 98.5 The Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network.
Diggs.
It's game
First and
4.
goal to go.
It's game 4. We're finally starting to see the emergence of Steph Diggs in this offense. It is a big-time veteran route. More importantly, a veteran-type throw by Drake May on the back shoulder stop. That's a hell of a throw, hell of a catch. You got a weapon now, number 8.
Joe's right about that. The Stephon Diggs coming out party today, and that was a first down. Patriots 4th and 3. Later in the game, they did convert 16 first downs today, and with every first down, credit unions, Kids at Heart funds promising studies into new treatments for pediatric brain diseases. Learn more at cukidsAtHeart.org. Matt McCarthy, Joe Murray. This is the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show, and as we are every week, we are joined by Greg Bedard of the Boston Sports Journal. Greg, we'll start there. Was Stephon Diggs the biggest difference in the Patriots offense today? They put up 42 points. They beat Carolina 42-13.
Was he the biggest difference?
Yes.
No, I think not turning the ball over 5 times was the biggest difference in this game. They didn't put it, on the ground once. Drake had one throw that was a little bit iffy, a little bit turnover worthy, but outside of that, I just think it was the difference in this game. It wasn't one guy. It was they executed at a high level. I thought Josh McDaniels continues to expand, what he's able to do in terms of utilizing guys. I think the explosive plays overall, and Diggs did have, I think, 3 of them. Were certainly a factor. They had one drive that was basically all explosive plays, 1 week after Mike Vrabel was whining about the lack of explosive plays. And I thought McDaniels did a great job of sort of exposing the weakness that has developed in this Panthers defense due to injuries. I mean, they were down to 2 rookies on their edge, plus they called up like Boogie Basham from the practice squad. McDaniels really did a nice job of exposing the edges of the Panthers. But I thought, the difference was they just were a little bit better than they were last week, and they didn't turn the ball over 5 times.
What did you make of the way they used Stephon Diggs, though? A little bit more in the slot today, it appeared, and what did you make of his performance overall?
A little bit more in the slot. I thought he was great. I mean, they hooked up on some big plays, the 3rd and 15, the 4th down play. The 30-yarder that I think was the one that you guys played on the intro here. They were all good plays, but I think they got a lot of good plays from a lot of, people, from, Travion Henderson to, Austin Hooper and Hunter Henry. I just think what you saw today was a highly efficient offense, and that's sort of a combination between execution, play calling, and also the opponent.
Greg, I agree with you. Josh McDaniels was outstanding today. He had some great designs, but it was the play action. It was a misdirection. It was the end around. Was that the game plan because the Panthers only had 1 sack all year and weren't a team that pressured a lot, or was this trying to open up a little bit more those explosive plays that you mentioned, trying to find guys? Vrabel said after the game, find the guy that is open and stay the course if everybody stays the course. Was that the design today by Josh McDaniels? And I do want to give credit to Drake May, who executed it beautifully today.
Yeah, I think I looked at this as, I don't think this was a movement to this is where they're going to take the offense. I think it was, this opponent, and the approach will probably be different against the Bills next week, depending on, what they have on the edge. It's more of a veteran defense. I think that Josh looked at the opponent, and I saw some of the same things where, because they're so young on the edges of this defense, that they could expose some things. The linebacker play isn't that great. So the more they could, the misdirection and get them moving side to side, the more things were going to open up, for the Patriots. So I think that worked really well for them today.
Greg, do you think the Patriots are at their best offensively when Drake May, and maybe even specifically in the red zone, is on the move? That's something Joe and I have talked a lot about, here in the post game is how they looked in the red zone today, and some of the stuff you saw from Drake May when they moved him outside the pocket.
Yeah, I mean it's easier said than done, in terms of execution, but also the opponent. I mean, if you have TJ Watt on one edge or Mason Crosby on one edge, it sort of limits what you can do in terms of getting guys sucked up into the middle, sucking guys up on play action. So obviously in a perfect world, you'd love to have a run pass option on every play in the red zone and goal to go. And, they were able to do that. That doesn't mean they can do it every week. I mean, I saw, Joe whining on Twitter. Of course, Patriots have a good drive, and he says something about like, this is why I wanted them to run the ball more last week, where Joe also leaves out the fact that on first down, Drake May had Austin Hooper wide open, didn't throw the ball, ends up hurting himself. He had Kayshon Boutte wide open on third down. If those plays worked against that opponent, and they worked, and the approach worked, and sure, I would have liked to have seen a run on second down. But just because they didn't score there doesn't mean the approach was wrong, and that, Drake May has to be a run-pass option every time. It really depends on the opponent. This week it worked because of the inexperience on the edges of the Carolina Panthers defense. Will it work against Buffalo? I don't know. You also have to factor in that they practice against Josh Allen all the time, so maybe they're a little bit more understanding of some of the concepts that people might use. So I think it's a case-by-case basis, and but just because it didn't work because Drake May didn't hit 2 open receivers in 3 plays, doesn't mean it was the wrong approach.
What did you think of the running back approach today with Ramondre starting and also getting a touch backed up on his own goal line?
Definitely interesting to see him out there starting and also getting the first touch. I mean, it was basically, in my opinion, it was Mike Vrabel giving everybody the middle finger for what everybody said all week, including maybe Mike Felger himself. But, definitely interesting. It just shows that Vrabel's going to do what he's going to do, and he doesn't really care about the outside noise. Wouldn't have been what I did, but for a week it worked, and Vrabel looks smart right now.
Patriots 2-2 heading into Week 5 in Buffalo. Greg, joined by Greg Bedard of the Boston Sports Journal. What would be the grade you would give to the coaching staff overall throughout the first month of the season?
Overall, I mean, it would have been like a C-, D+ after last week. Now I think we're probably in the solid C range at this point with them 2-2. I think you can, make the case that the Patriots have beat themselves way too often. Is that the fault of the players? Is the fault of the coaches? And obviously it's everybody, but I would put some of that, on the coaches. I think that, even today, because of the opponent, and that was already weakened coming in, considering their injury issues, and then they lost 3 pretty key guys early on in this game. I mean, the Patriots, I think, if they played a better opponent, like I say like a Steelers, they would have been in a tougher tussle because, they give up the opening touchdown. The Panthers drove 6 times in the Patriots territory in this game, and they're just limited with 1 wide receiver in terms of what they can do. Like, this is sort of like watching, the Patriots offense, at certain points, especially, once Josh McDaniels left, when you're limited in terms of talent, it's really hard to go 80 yards. And this Panthers team was about 60 yards good. And then they ran out of steam and the ability to make plays, and there's only so much you can do, when you don't have even average talent. The Patriots also had, 6 penalties in the first half, 5 of which, were accepted. So, it's not totally cleaned up in that regards, but, it seems like they're making incremental progress and getting better.
All right, more with the big boy coming up next. Greg Bedard of the Boston Sports Journal. We have room for you at 617-779-0985. Want to get into Pop Douglas and his role moving forward. The play in the trenches today as well. Milton Williams. We'll get a check on Will Campbell and everything going on with the Patriots offensive line on a day where the Patriots dominate Carolina 42-13. It's the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show with Matt McCarthy and Joe Murray on the Safety Insurance 98.5, the Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network. TD Garden on March 5th. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Greg Bedard will be there that night, I'm sure. Greg Bedard from the Boston Sports Journal joining us as he always does. Greg, what did you make of Pop Douglas today? Mike Vrabel, complimentary of Douglas in the blocking game. Did not have a catch. Stephon Diggs working a little bit more inside in the slot. What does this mean going forward, if anything?
Well, he's definitely. I mean, I didn't catch that with Vrabel, but I was just looking over some numbers. According to PFF, and this is early, could be changed. So Pop Douglas has gone from 45 snaps to 15 to 29 to 8 in this game. That his role definitely has been reduced. One thing I just wanted to bring up, because I know this is probably going to be a topic of conversation. I was looking at Diggs' slot usage so far this season. This game was actually his third highest. So his highest slot usage rate was actually last week at 56%. The Miami game week 2 was 48%. Today was 42%, basically. So I would say not a big change for Stephon Diggs, but I think, Pop Douglas is definitely taking a seat, and he should, because he has not been executing the offense properly. And, you could say, it's a little bit of a stretch. It's a big stretch to say that, look, they put guys on the field that they trust a little bit more to execute this offense, and this was probably their best executed game of the season.
Greg, if people were anticipating All-Pro Christian Gonzalez back, does him being back help Marcus Jones become more valuable in special teams?
Possibly. Marcus Jones was, I'll have to go back and look at this, but my interpretation early on was that he had seen his role reduced in this game on defense, that Charles Woods was actually playing a lot more where I expected to see Marcus Jones. It seemed like Marcus Jones was more of a dime specialty package game instead of the de facto, slot corner or third cornerback. And, Marcus Jones, now things did change a little bit because Charles Woods went out with an injury for a little bit. But Marcus Jones only played 38 snaps on defense in this game. He's played at least 45 in every game. The previous two were 59 and 58. So, that he had, could you say he had a little bit more juice in his legs because he's not playing as much defense? Quite possibly, you could say that.
Greg, what have you made of Milton Williams' impact on this team throughout the first 4 weeks? Joe and I were talking. We felt he had a good game today, knocked Carolina into a long field goal early on, at least when the game was still somewhat competitive. What have you made of him so far?
Yeah, I actually thought that, when I did my game report for Boston Sports Journal, I could have picked the Marcus Jones punt return touchdown as sort of the turning point in the game, and it was huge. And to that point, the Patriots were very lethargic on both sides of the ball. So you could definitely argue with that it woke everybody up and sort of keyed things. I wouldn't have a problem with that. I actually think that play by Williams was actually the turning point to me because, the Panthers had driven, I think they were at the Patriots 26 at the time. And Milton Williams did what I haven't seen him do a whole lot, whether it was Philly or here, where he actually made like a pass rush move instead of just, using pressure, sort of power. That's sort of his game, and also working off of games when other players. That's where he's been able to get his most pressure. But on that one, he just dusted Damian Lewis with, he faked to the outside, then went really quickly inside. And once he did that, like Bryce Young saw him coming and tried to get out of the pocket. Now, if Bryce Young doesn't slip there, he probably does get outside and is able to make a play, but he slipped and went down. But still, that sack, which they gave the chase on, which was a joke, Williams should at least get a half a sack on that, was big. His impact, he's been good. I think with him, the question is going to be like, can he do this for 17 games? Because, you could play. He's going up dramatically in terms of how much he plays in terms of what he was asked to do with the Eagles and what he is now. It looks like he can do it through 4 games. Can he do it through 17 games? We shall see. But he's been good. He's done a nice job.
Greg, today was a great day for the Patriots. Not a lot of negatives in this one, but if I can just point out a couple, the defense did give over 100. Maybe it was because they got out to a big lead. James Cook went for over 100, so I'm looking at that for next week. And then Trevion Henderson has had a tough time in pass protection. He was one of the top guys in college. If I was just going to give you a couple of one negative takeaway, it's probably his just tough first 4 games for him.
I do think today was a step forward for him in terms of just his successful rate in terms of, plays. I mean, he's had some issues in pass protection. He's had some issues picking the right holes in terms of, being a running back. He gets his first career touchdown. He's also had issues in the screen game in terms of, where he should be, running with the football. But I think he's going to get better as that. The more it continues and the more reps that he gets. And so, there were, we talked about the penalties, the defensive start was rough. Like I said, I do think a better opponent that's healthier and a few more options on offense could have given them some issues with, 6 drives in the Patriots territory. Carlton Davis had 2 more penalties. Christian Ellis, it looks like he got benched for Jack Gibbons again. And while Craig Woodson had a really nice pass breakup, he did give up both passing touchdowns to tight ends. So those are probably the things that are on the immediate list to clean up going into Buffalo.
All right, Greg, as always, we'll be reading you in the Boston Sports Journal. We'll look forward to you on Felger and Maz on our flagship 98.5 The Sports Hub on Tuesday, and we appreciate the insight.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right, sounds good. That is Greg Bedard from the Boston Sports Journal joining us, as he does every week on the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show. Joe, coming up, I do want to look ahead to Buffalo because this is the biggest game the Patriots have played in some time, really. And coming off their best offensive performance in 4 years, I think Patriots fans should be excited about it. The Bills did not look so great today. You'll have those details coming up with a headline. But first, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Safety Insurance 98.5 The Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios, this is Boston's home for sports. WBZFM at HD Boston 98.5.
field goals today, but if they did, we can tell you that once again this season, as part of their Apex Cares program, Apex Entertainment will be donating $100 to support autism education and research at the New England Center for Children for every converted field goal. For more information at apexentertainment.com. It is so nice to come in here on a Sunday afternoon and actually talk about the Patriots beating down a team that they should have beaten down. And that's exactly what they did today. Essentially their best offensive performance in the last 4 years. It was refreshing, to say the least, Joe.
Absolutely refreshing. Vegas, last week when they made the line 4.5, I went, whoa. A team just off of, you know what else I kind of don't want to hear today? In the end, did the Panthers look like a team that was undermanned, injured, didn't have playmakers, and eventually Bryce Young got figured out? All that happened. It's true. David Canales has taken over the team, but they're at the bottom of the league. But they also had a 30-0 shutout last week against Michael Penix.
Also, when was the last time the Patriots did this, though, to a team at the bottom of the league?
I can't think of another day they've done it. But
it's Cleveland in 2022. It's Detroit in 2022. But you have to go back 3 years, Joe.
Well, let's give some facts here. We haven't really been critical all night because this is a day to celebrate for sure. 3 out of 4 games giving up an opening touchdown to the defense.
Not good enough.
It's not sustainable. Forget about not good. It's you do that next week against Buffalo, and now you're trailing 7-0.
What's the deal with that? Is that a coaching thing? Because it strikes me as a coaching thing.
Yeah, I do.
It suggests to me that they're making the adjustments. That they're way better once they see what a team is doing and they're able to adjust to that. Really good adjustment today. They take Ellis out of the lineup. They put Jack Gibbons in. That helps them in the linebacking core. And that paid dividends instantly. Why aren't you aware that Carolina is going to come in and try and use their tight ends? Now, maybe it's a surprise. Maybe that's just the way the game went. But if that happens one time, then you say that's an adjustment. If you give up opening scores 3 out of 4 games, now you say that's a trend. So I don't know. What's the deal with that?
Terrell Williams is out. I think they're adjusting. Their adjustments were great today, though. To your point, Hawkins went down. They went to Mapu, and he was covering the tight ends. The garbage time touchdown would have been another tight end who scored, and next week you get Kincaid, you get Knox. So I'm just looking ahead here. I know that people can say that this was just a game plan for the opponent, but I am using this as a jumping off point. You saw a little bit of success later on in the game stopping tight ends and the running game. So next week, James Cook, he's one of the most explosive players in football. Not to mention we're highlighting, Milton Williams Day and what Christian Barmore is doing. Josh Allen's going to be running the football. You need those two guys to be an impact next week. So, I look at what they did defensively wasn't great to start. They made the right adjustments. They made replacements. And then they dominated. They're going to have to use that next week, and that's something that Milton Williams said after the game. Hey, I'm looking at Buffalo as this an opportunity for us to go play well and start stacking wins. They have confidence now, and I'm wondering if they know they have enough to maybe stop what Buffalo offers, because although they're explosive and average 30 points a game, they still do it. They're explosive plays by good players. I think the Patriots have guys who can slow them down, though.
So I think Buffalo wins that game next week. That being said, I think the Patriots are going to be competitive in it, and for a couple of factors. One, they're 2-2 right now, and as I said, earlier on in the program, Joe, I think they're on schedule. They have been in all 4 of the games they have played in. Now, again, the competition is about to take a real step up. Buffalo, I would argue, is the cream of the crop in the AFC. That being said, this team has been competitive against Buffalo in recent years. I'm not saying that's translated into much success, but they have not been blown out consistently by the Bills. Different coaching staff, I understand that. I think they'll be competitive next week. Division games are typically competitive in the NFL. You know what Buffalo wants to do. Granted, there's been turnover in the coaching staff, and I understand that. But I think this team is trending towards a competitive outing against Buffalo next weekend. Not predicting a win, and I'm not going to bet it, and I don't know what the line is opened at this point. But I anticipate the Patriots will be competitive in that game because I have a track record of seeing them being competitive in the previous 4 games. Doesn't mean it's been perfect, doesn't mean it's been good, but 2-2 is where they should be based on the way they've played and the level of competition that they've put out over the course of the first 4 weeks of the season.
Next week's an offensive line game. We really couldn't do much today to break down what the offensive line did. But when you see Joey Bosa and Deion Walker and A.J. Epinesa and these guys, you got to run the football on those guys. They're tough. They get after the quarterback, and they're pass rushers. So I think next week it's about the offensive line, and the Patriots, they got it going. We talked about the way that they used the running game today. 3 different backs getting over 100 yards, including May, who is a good runner, by the way. This is Josh Allen, Drake May now. Let's hype it up. Let's hype it up. I know Josh Allen's the MVP of the league. He's throwing to guys like Khalil Shakir, who's, a good player. They drafted Keon Coleman a year ago, but they got those 2 tight ends. And I think that's the key next week is can the Patriots' offensive line be dominant against a good defensive line? And can they continue to run that football? And then defensively, do you have answers for their tight ends? Gonzo's going to take somebody away. Carlton Davis wasn't great today by any means either. Those guys need to be better, but it's going to be the trenches that win next week's game.
Isn't today what they want to be offensively, though? And it's hard to judge based on the competition, but run the football. The offensive line had a good day. They kept Drake May clean. This is the formula. You run the football. I mean, they ran it 28, 29 times today. They only passed it 17 times. To be a little bit more of a running team, to, keep Drake May in control of the game. That's the formula against Buffalo next week. But you're totally right. It comes down to the offensive line, which I want to get to on the other side, because if we can't judge them today against a unit that only has 1 sack in now 4 games in Carolina, we can, though, judge them based on their first 4 weeks. I want to get your thoughts on that. And we've got room for you on the phone lines at 617-779-0985. This is the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show. Matt McCarthy and Joe Murray. Patriots smoke the Panthers 42-13 today. We continue on the Safety Insurance 98.5, the Sports Hub, Patriots Radio Network.
Hey, it's Maz for Window Nation.
They chipped Watt every single play last week.
They protect the line. They're going to have to continue to do that. Next week, they're really going to have to do that.
617-779-0985. How about Sean in Westford? Hey, Sean.
Hey, guys. So, great show, by the way. So, obviously, not a lot to complain about today. But what are your guys' thoughts on Kyle Williams? So, you're just talking about opening up the offense. Every week, I want to see him get more involved in the offense. Today seemed like kind of the day to do that, as a team is so deprived of offense. I don't know. It seemed like it would have been a chance to kind of get him involved, get him some touches. I think they had one touch today. Do you guys see him as someone who'll be part of the offense going forward this year? Is he dealing with like a Foxborough flu type situation? I don't know. I'll hang up and listen to you guys. But thank you.
I like the Foxborough flu angle. He's getting the reps over Chisholm, right?
He should be.
I agree. He's just, like I just mentioned, they love 12 personnel, and it's because of their line issues. And they just do a little bit more. It's more controlling. They less turnover-worthy plays. I'll keep saying that. But if they want to go 4 wide and spread him, he's going to be on the field.
Is today the day really to complain about offensive personnel and who you're using and who you're not?
Today's the day you say Stephon Diggs became a Patriot.
Now, here's the thing. Stephon Diggs establishing himself more in the slot and proving what I think a lot of us have been hypothesizing for the last couple of weeks, that this team would actually be better with less Pop Douglas and more Stephon Diggs in the slot. That does potentially open up something for Kyle Williams. Right now, Drake May is comfortable with Mac Hollins, and Kayshon Boutte is undeniably ahead of Williams on the depth chart. Somebody goes down there, though, that's where I'll make the argument for Williams. I don't want to see Pop Douglas out there at this point. I want to see it's more of and they play different positions, so it's Douglas is more of an inside guy and Williams is more of an outside guy. But if somebody goes down, I don't want to then kick Stephon Diggs back outside and put Douglas back in the game. I want Williams in that spot.
Yes, and he is known as a slot receiver. So now you have Douglas, Diggs, Chisholm, Williams. So Williams really is only getting on the field as an outside receiver, and that's when Boutte gets a blow or something like that.
Do you think Vrabel's comments, he was honestly almost effusive in his praise of Douglas's blocking today?
Trust.
Do you think that is calculated from Vrabel? I do too.
Absolutely. He always talks about trust, right? Ramondre got some trust today, shouting out Pop Douglas. That was a nice play, by the way. He ran him off. Henry chipped. May ran. It was a beautiful play. The little things, right? Listen, Pop Douglas is used to this. He scored a touchdown week 1, but normally doesn't get into the end zone. It's just their way that their roster is constructed. You know, like Diggs took the next step, but really their best receivers. Would you argue there are Diggs and Henry, or just pass catchers? Like those are their 2 best guys,
no doubt.
And Boutte runs the best. He's the best X they have, and Mac Hollins does everything. He's the little things. He does it all. That's why you got to keep him on the field. There's still some personnel issues, Matt, and that's why they struggle at times. I'm just going to keep talking about next week. Stephon Diggs. Who did he play for?
Buffalo Bills. And a number of teams, Joe, because he does seem to wear out his welcome.
Do you remember the side-eye meme? I'm going to get that one going this week. Remember when he played for the Texans last year? They played, and there was little side-eye. I'm going to get that. Just remember, there's going to be a little bit of extra motivation, and I know that every week Stephon Diggs loves to tell us that he's been in the league for a while. Loves to tell you he knows what he's doing. And when people are like, man, you're good, and hey, you're really out there, he's just continuously been doing this a long time. Well, it took 4 weeks to get Stephon Diggs going in the offense, and I hope that plateaus to next week.
How much of that do you think was decision-making, the way they have deployed their personnel? Was it just him getting more comfortable in the offense? Is it just him getting healthier? How much of this is a coaching thing? Because I think fans were frustrated last week, rightfully so, by Demario Douglas getting that target on 4th and 1. It's shouldn't that be Stephon Diggs? Did it take them too long to get to this point?
Yeah. Sometimes you look at the numbers and it's not as there's facts and numbers, and then it's the eye test or the smell test.
Joe, let me tell you something. You can find a number to present as a fact for anything.
Well, I gave you Gerard Mayo better than Mike Vrabel last week through 3 weeks.
You were giving me the stats today that Bryce Young is technically better than Drake May.
Last 13 games.
You can find a stat for anything.
That's right.
I watched Drake May today. I watched Bryce Young. Who's better, Joe?
Definitely Drake May.
It's not even close.
I actually was frustrated with Bryce Young. I expected more out of him today. It was frustrating, but as of right now, I think that the Diggs thing, they looked at the stats and they said, how is Douglas getting the reps there on 4th down? How are we going to him? To the point where Diggs is I'm ready to go. And he was today.
Joe, real quick, something you've been saying a number of times off the air. We were watching the game together, too. You made this point, safety play for the Patriots. I know this is a small topic, but I know you're passionate about it.
They're not good.
I would agree.
Jalen Hawkins got hurt today. He's one of their big special teams guys, too. Sorry, a lot of Duggar. I'll get the snaps at some point. Woodson got beat, but then makes up for it. Mapu? The thing with Mapu is he can cover tight ends. So I wonder if you see more of that next week. They need help back there. I don't know. You know who I think can help?
Jelani Tavai.
Tavai is probably going to come back next week.
Yeah,
which I think
good timing.
Which I think helps Mapu. What about Marcus Jones
at safety? I like Jones with the field in front of him. It's one of the many things that makes him a great punt returner. He has good vision for the field.
And he's played there a couple times already this year. So if it's Carlton Davis and Gonzo, and probably Alex Austin as your next guy up, they're stronger with Joe. But if you put him in safety, at least he can cover somebody in the slot. I just think Buffalo is going to go with tight ends with their running back, the 12 personnel. And when they open it up a little bit, that's when you can use Jones.
If I'm the Bills, I'm looking at the drive, Carolina's first drive today, where they just killed the Patriots with tight ends. And none of the... Name me 2 tight ends right now in the Carolina Panthers. We just watched the game.
Tommy Tremble and Mr. Evans.
Mr. Evans is like Mr. Rogers. Who is he?
Mr. Evans. Don't know. What was his name? Matt Mulligan. I dropped early. He's the Matt Mulligan of the Carolina Panthers. I don't know.
Mitchell
Evans.
Mitchell. Hey, you were close.
Where'd he go to school?
How about that?
Iowa.
Let's find out. Notre Dame.
Just
right part of the country, Joe. They do corn.
Lots of corn.
A lot of corn. We will go around the country because we're going to go around the NFL coming up next. But first, Joe Murray's going to get you caught up on a headline. Busy day in sports. Patriots, again, smoking Carolina today. 42-13. We continue. It's Matt McCarthy and Joe Murray. This is the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show. go around the NFL. And Joe, we're starting games early because we're going across the pond, this time to Dublin with the Vikings and the Steelers.
So now 4th and 17. They take 5 yards back to their own 32-yard line. Again, need to get it to the 49 to keep this game rolling. 14 seconds to go. Wentz takes the shotgun snap. Looking over the middle, firing over the middle, and that is knocked down and falls incomplete. Deshaun Elliott, who had that big interception in the first half, with an exclamation point on this massive Steelers win here in Dublin.
Steelers hold on for a 24-21 win over the Vikings. That's how it sounded on Westwood One. Aaron Rodgers, Joe, and the Steelers now 3-1 on the season. I don't believe in that team. I don't. 3-1, and I know they pick up a win. Is today more about the Steelers or is it more about the Vikings?
Ooh, I mean, Carson Wentz can't throw 46 times in a game and you be successful. But they even got Jordan Addison back. Jefferson had a big day. They had a chance at the end of the game. The defense of the Steelers were the difference. Rodgers 200 yards, 1 touchdown. Today it seemed a little bit like the veteran, the coaching, and the defense outdid the mastermind offensive guy today.
As an aside, the NFL's doing all these international games. I'm so stoked they're going to Dublin. They need to send the Patriots there next year, if you ask me. Jeremy Connolly's shaking his head back there. No. Dublin, baby. Dublin. You can't fight the international game.
You get a press pass for that?
He doesn't want to work. He doesn't want to work at 6
You
in the
travel
morning.
with the team?
I'll do that. You kidding me? Elsewhere, we've been talking a lot about the Bills getting ready for the Bills on Sunday. They held on today against the Saints.
Takes the snap, fakes the throw to the flat, looks down the sideline. He's got Kincaid, who's going to walk it in for a 23-yard touchdown. Oh, they got the Saints biting on that one. Fake to the flat, throw to the sideline, and it's easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy on WGR out in Buffalo. The Bills hold on. I don't want to say they squeak it out against the Saints, 31-19. New Orleans drops to 0-4 on the year. They stink, Joe. Look-ahead game for the Bills?
The old betting look-ahead. You're 15-point favorites and you didn't cover. That's the way I look at that. But, when you look at Buffalo, like if you just look at the stat sheet, 117 on the ground for Cook and then 45 for Josh Allen. And then their receivers, Shakir had 5 catches, Coleman 3, Kincaid had 1. Like they're like the Pats, right? If you look at it, there's only a couple of guys who do everything, and then there's a couple of other guys who make plays. Like I don't know how they're so dominant, man, but they're good.
4-0 for the Bills this season. They are good, very good. And the Patriots will get a taste of that next weekend up in Buffalo. Meanwhile, a little bit of a franchise rarity today in Houston.
Woody's back in the game again.
Great to see on 3rd down and 3 at the 24-yard line of Tennessee. Stroud to the gun, Nolan motion to the left. CJ looks it over. Somebody jumped offside. Here's the snap. CJ looking, firing deep downfield, right side end zone. Higgins with the catch. Jaden Higgins, touchdown, Houston.
That's how it sounded on Texans radio, Sports Radio 610 in Houston. The Texans shutting out the Titans, 26-0. Joe, guess how long it's been since the Texans had a shutout?
Since the Patriots scored 40 points?
2010. It's been 15 years since the Texans have shut out an opponent.
Even with J.J. Watt and all that talent?
Even with those teams, you think about like how many 9-6 games they won in the Brian Hoyer era. Yeah, first time they've shut out an opponent in 15 years. The Titans stink. Holy crap, are they bad.
The coach gave up the calling duties, too, and they scored nothing.
That's never a good sign. Never a good sign. Today in Tampa, the Eagles and the Buccaneers.
They've got to get to the 29. Can the Eagles keep them short? This is the play of the game. Each play becomes bigger and bigger. Snap to Mayfield. He's back. He's being chased. He fires. He completes it short of a first down. Now the ball is being batted around and knocked out of bounds, but the Eagles are going to take over on downs.
The great Merrill Reese on WIP, 94 WIP in Philadelphia. The Eagles stop Tampa on fourth down. They seal the win. 31-25. Philadelphia now 4-0 on the season. This is a competitive game. 2 touchdown passes for Baker Mayfield, but ultimately the Bucs fall short in this one, Joe.
It's a blowout. Eagles, Tampa Bay scored 19 second-half points to make it even a 1-point score. Whenever I watch an Eagles game, I just go to the box score to see what the receiving numbers are for A.J. Brown. Just it's like nice little exercise I like to do. Just see, I hope he brought his book. 2 for 7 today. 2 catches, 7 yards. I can only imagine the cryptic tweets that are coming out.
It's 2 more than Pop Douglas had today for the Patriots. Elsewhere, a little bit farther up the road, the Giants with an upset over the Chargers today.
Herbert pumps his right leg. Takes the snap. Back to throw. Waits. Now deep ball up the field. Completes it. But Johnston can't get out of bounds. Great job there by Cordell Flott. Game's over. Down to 1 second and the ball game's over. And the Giants have won for the first time this year in Jackson Dart's first ever start. They hand the Chargers their first loss, 21-18.
The Jackson Dart era underway in New York. Giants a 21-18 win. That's how it sounded on WFAN down in New York. Justin Herbert picked off twice in this one. We didn't see too much of this game today, Joe, but Jackson Dart went 13 for 20, 111 yards and a touchdown. He was sacked 5 times, but he did not throw any interceptions. So there you go. Jackson Dart era underway.
I'll say this. They got a spark today. Cam Scatabo is really doing well. Mm-hmm. But Malik Neighbors, not good, potential knee injury, but that's their young big 3, and they could be without their star receiver.
Some other games that went final earlier, if you have any thoughts on these, the Falcons improved to 2-2. They beat the Commanders 34-27. No Terry McLaurin in that game.
No Jaden Daniels, right?
No Jaden Daniels in that game. How about the Lions? They beat the Browns 34-10. Any thoughts on how much the Browns stink?
No, but the Lions are rolling after that first week with all the coordinators.
Let's calm down on that. The Lions are still one of the best teams in the NFL just because they kind of no-showed week 1. Like, they're still a top-tier team in the NFL, at least if you ask me. And the coordinator thing couldn't be the most overrated. There could not be a more overrated topic out there than what are the Lions going to do without Ben Johnson? You know what they're going to do? They're going to be just fine because they have a really good offensive line.
May I mention Dylan Gabriel got a couple of snaps today for the Browns.
You might mention that.
Yeah, because Joe Flacco.
I think that thing has run its course. Now, granted, Joe, I've said the Joe Flacco thing, it's run its course. I was saying that about 10 years ago. So he's still doing this thing, but yeah, I think we are trending in. The Patriots are going to be very happy to see the Browns in a few weeks. Games in action right now. We got a good one in Los Angeles.
3 receivers stacked to the right side for the Colts. Shotgun snap for the quarterback. Looks left. Fires down the left sideline, and it is a catch. A.D. Mitchell. There he goes. Inside the 30. Down the far sideline. 10. 5. Touchdown. A.D. Mitchell. His first career touchdown in the NFL. Hold on just a moment. The officials talking to one another at the goal line. The play happened furthest away from us as A.D. Mitchell had a great adjustment on the ball and then streaked down the far sideline. Made it in front of Emmanuel Forbes Jr.
He bobbled the ball at the end, Matt. He switched the ball in his hands right at the goal line. It looks like he may have fumbled it before he crossed the goal line, which would give the Rams the ball on the 20-yard line.
The ball was loose prior to crossing the goal line. It went in and out of the end zone. The result of the play is a touchdown.
So it sounded on the Fan and 97.1 Hank FM in Indianapolis. A.D. Mitchell fumbling on the 1-yard line. Ball goes out. Do you like that rule, Joe, the touchback rule?
I do.
I do, too.
You got to carry it over the line. But it was like he tried to do a finger roll as like an excitement and just lost the ball. Not good from him. We've seen that a lot. But this is coming down to the wire here. Colts, Rams. I don't like the nickname Indiana Jones by any means, but the Rams really need this one. They get to 3-1 if they can win. If not, Colts go 4-0 and could win the division.
Yeah, that's the big swing game, the big swing play in that game right now. Again, tied at 20, 2:29 to play in the fourth quarter. Indianapolis with the ball at midfield, but of course that play looming large in that one. Other games in action, Jacksonville out to a 26-14 lead on the 49ers.
Trevor under center, Tootin the running back. Play fake. Trevor looking. Fires. That ball's going to be caught for the touchdown. There are flags in the end zone. Let's see what they are, but that is a touchdown pass to Hunter Long from 4 yards away.
That's against the 49ers. That touchdown stands, baby.
That's how it sounded on the Jaguars radio network. A touchdown pass from Trevor Lawrence. Again, 26-14 for the Jaguars. We don't have the game on in here, Joe, because we've got the Ravens game, which we'll get to here in a second. But it is my understanding, according to our intrepid Jaguars reporter, Kendra Middleton, that Mac Jones is warming up for the 49ers. That's going to be a story coming out of this one. If the Niners lose this game to the Jaguars, are they better off with Mac Jones compared to Brock Purdy?
No. But did they bring back Purdy too quick? And the other thing is, if you're Shanahan, do you think that maybe the Jaguars have a scouting report on Mac Jones? But, hey, the game's still close, and maybe Purdy's not right, and our sources are on the ground saying he could be going in.
And finally, the game of the 4 o'clock window, it's the Ravens and the Chiefs. And let me tell you something, Joe. The Chiefs are still the Chiefs.
Mahomes stays with the called play. After a long count, rolling left side, dumps it, Pacheco at the 5, angling near side, touchdown, Kansas City, as the Chiefs on the short roll touchdown pass, Mahomes to Isaiah Pacheco, and the Chiefs lead 19-7. That gives him 250 touchdown passes in his 116th game. That's the fastest to 250 touchdown passes by any quarterback in National Football League history.
Joe, say what you will, and that's how Patrick Mahomes' 250th career touchdown pass sounded on 96.5 The Fan and the Chiefs radio network in Kansas City. Say what you will about this Chiefs team. I know they don't have the talent in years past that they've had. I know it's been bumpy along the way. You see who they still are in a spot like this. They have dominated this game. It's 30-13 with 3:37 to play in the fourth quarter. Lamar Jackson now questionable to return for Baltimore with a hamstring injury, but you just see which team knows how to get it done. And that's always the Kansas City Chiefs, especially in this matchup.
It was like as the Chiefs used the first 4 games as an extension of the preseason.
As the Patriots always used to do.
Yep. And the Cooper Rush era could begin if Lamar doesn't come back.
All right, so there you have it. Later tonight, Packers-Cowboys, Micah Parsons, the Micah Parsons Bowl, if you want to call it that, tonight on Sunday Night Football, and then 2 Monday-nighters tomorrow night, Jets and Dolphins. Woof. That's a tough watch. Bengals, Broncos. Woof.
Woof.
No baseball games tomorrow night, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. It's a tough watch.
Big fantasy night.
Yeah, that's
all we got.
That's rough. That's a rough one. We'll continue. Patriots with a 42-13 win over the Panthers today in Foxborough. We will wrap up this program next. This is the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show on the Safety Insurance 98.5 The Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network.
make an impact, and we'll see what Christian Gonzalez can do next week.
I'll look forward to that. So pregame will start at 5:30 next week here on the network. Kickoff just before 8:30 Sunday Night Football, and then Joe, you will be here for postgame next week, breaking it all down into the early morning hours. A few thank yous to hand out before we get out of here. To our producer, Mark Capello, engineer Dennis Knudsen. Also thank you to Tyler Knudsen and Mike Perry. Here in our Waltham studios, studio direction, technician, Kevin Majori, and the executive producer and supreme commander of Patriots football is Jeremy Connolly. This has been the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show. Shaw's and Star Market make shopping, ordering online, and saving easier than ever. Download the Shaw's Deals and Delivery app or the Star Market Deals and Delivery app today. Final score for the final time. The Patriots 42, the Panthers 13. We'll talk to you next week. Joe Murray, Matt McCarthy, thanks for tuning in. This has been the Safety Insurance 98.5 The Sports Hub, Patriots Radio Network. So long, everybody.